here, let's learn something new today. My name is Teacher Annika, and today we are going to be looking at time. Before we get started on time, I want you to take your time, write both of your names, the name of the day and the name of the month. And then we are going to get started. You can also go ahead and grab something circular because we'll have some circles to draw. So do that for me and come right back. Welcome back. Roll those names. Awesome. Did you grab the circular object for me? Cool. Put on one side. I'll tell you when we're going to use it. For now, I want you to relax, listen to me, and pay attention to your screen. Today, we are going to be looking at time. Now, in order for us to look at time, we'll need a clock. Yes, we are going to need a clock. Now, we measure and define what time of day by using a clock. That's how we know what time it is during the day. A clock in general has 12 numbers written on it. If we look here, we can see those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we can see that this clock has 12 numbers. Also, on the clock, we'll see two hands. It has an hour hand and a minute hand. Now, which is which? Not to worry. The hour hand is the shorter of the two hands, and it also rotates. Do you know that? All right, so this hour hand rotates 360 degrees in 12 hours. All right, so that's a shorter hand. It goes around 12 hours. Then the other one, which is the minute hand, is the longer hand. And this completes one rotation through 360 degrees in 60 minutes. 60 minutes for the minute hand, and we have 12 hours for the hour hand. Look on the screen, let's look at the time. So we're going to start with 1 o'clock, where the hour hand is pointing at the number 1 and the minute hand is at the number 12. Now, the minute hand is going to stay on the number 12 as we read the different time going all the way to 12 o'clock. So let's go. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. Remember, the short hand is the hour hand and the longer hand is the minute hand. Okay? So this is how we read the time on the hour or on every hour from 1 to 12. This is where it gets exciting. I have faces of 6 clocks on the screen. However, I did not put in the hands. There are no hands on these clocks. But I have the time written under the clock, and I would like you to draw the hands in on the clock. So you have to draw 2 hands on each clock. One needs to be long, which would be the minute hand, and one needs to be short, which would be the hour hand. So let's look at number 1. I have here 11 o'clock. So this here means 11 hours. Same thing, 11 hours or 11 o'clock will be the same on the clock. So it means you have to listen carefully or look carefully at the time written at the bottom of the clock so you'll know where to position the hour hand and also where to position the minute hand. For the minute hand, that's easy. You just need to pay more attention to where you are going to put the hour hand. So I'll go them through for you. First one, 11 o'clock or 11 hours. Number 2, 1 o'clock or 1 hour. Number 3, 5 o'clock or 5 hours. Number 4, 6 o'clock or 6 hours. Number 5, 12 o'clock or 12 hours. And number 6, 2 o'clock or 2 hours. So you are going to use that circular object that I asked you to grab before, and then you're going to take your pencil, draw your neat circles because we're drawing clocks. Then you're going to put the numbers in, write the time at the bottom before you draw your hands in. Take your time. You have 6 clocks to complete. When you come back, we're going to reveal the answer. If you're not completed, that's okay. You'll still get to see the answer. All right? So go right ahead, and then I'll be right back. finished? I'm excited to see those clocks. You drew those clocks, you wrote the numbers in, and you drew the hands? All right, let's see if you have those answers correct. Once again, we have 6 clocks. The first one, you had to find 11 hours or 11 o'clock. So that meant that your shorthand needs to be pointing to the number 11 and the longer hand needs to be pointing at the number 12. Like this one, 11 o'clock. Do you have that? Nice. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, I ask you to draw on the face of the clock to show 1 o'clock. This is what 1 o'clock looks like. The hour hand, which is a shorter hand, needs to point to the number 1. The minute hand remains on the number 12. Do you have this? If you do, go ahead and give yourself a star. Let's move on to number 3. For number 3, I asked for 5 o'clock. What do you have? The hour hand should be pointing at the number 5 and the minute hand should be at the number 12 at the top. This is going to show 5 o'clock or 5 hours. Looks the same as yours? Great. Go ahead and give yourself another star. You're doing great. Let's move on to number 4. For number 4, we had to find or draw on the face of the clock to show 6 o'clock or 6 hours. Now this one seems as if it's a straight line. The short hand, which is the hour hand, would be pointing at the number 6, and the minute hand would still be at the number 12. This shows 6 o'clock. If your clock looks like the one on the screen, you can go ahead and give yourself a star. If you weren't able to reach the number 4, that's okay. Still pay attention. All right? Let's look at number 5. For number 5, you had to show 12 o'clock or 12 hours. This one was a little tricky, wasn't it? So this means that your hour hand, since we're looking at 12 o'clock, should be pointing at the number 12, which is at the top. And your minute hand should also be on the same number 12. So it's as if the short hand is lying on the tall hand, right? So both hands will be at the same number 12. If your clock looks just like this, then you have it correct. This is showing 12 hours or 12 o'clock. Go ahead and mark it correct if you have it. If not, you can always draw it later or correct it later. Let's go to number 6. For number 6, I ask you to find 2 o'clock or 2 hours, meaning you have to draw your 2 hands. Let's see. Since it's 2 hours, then the shorter hand, which is the hour hand, needs to point to the number 2. The longer hand, which is the minute hand, needs to point to the number 12. This here shows 2 o'clock or 2 hours. If your clock looks like the one on the screen, then you have it correct. If not, you can always correct it later. Now these were easy. Let's look back at all of the timings that you were asked to draw. 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. Easy, right? Now I have something exciting for you to do. You don't need to write, so sit, relax, look on the screen, and you have to pay attention. So if anything is making noise around you, shh, needs to be quiet. So you need to listen to me carefully and also look on the screen so you can answer the question that I'm about to ask. Are you ready? You sure you're ready? It doesn't seem as if you're ready. I can't hear you. Are you ready? Great, now I can hear you. So what we're going to be looking at, so we're looking for activities that would take about 1 hour to do. All right? So let me see who understands what I mean. Let's look at putting on our shoes. When we're putting on our shoes, does that take a whole hour? So the clock goes all the way around to 60 minutes for you to put on your shoes? Yes or no, teacher? For me, it's no, teacher. My shoes don't take an hour for me to put them on. Probably 2 to 3 minutes. So this one would be a no. How about swimming lessons? Let me see the hands of all those children who take swimming classes. Does it take you an hour to go and swim? For me, yes, because I like swimming. So when I get in the water, it's hard to come out of the water. So I would say yes, teacher, for this one. It takes me about an hour to swim and play inside of the pool. So that's a whole hour, which is equal to 60 minutes. These are things that takes maybe an hour or can take less than an hour. Look at the pictures on the screen and also look at the questions. Can you read it or should I read it for you? So look at the picture carefully and also you'll see the picture of a clock and it's telling a time. What time does Ava eat breakfast? What time does Ava eat breakfast? If we look at the clock is showing 8 o'clock. So we have to write the time at the bottom of the picture. Next to her, we'll see a boy. And the question is, what time does Joe go to school? What time does Joe go to school? On the clock, if we look carefully, it shows 10 o'clock. So now we know Ava eats breakfast at 8 o'clock and Joe goes to school at 10 o'clock. Look at the next picture. The question is, what time does Ben play basketball? What time does Ben play basketball? The clock is showing me that Ben plays basketball at 4 o'clock because the hour hand, which is a shorter hand, is pointing at the number 4. Therefore, Ben plays basketball at 4 o'clock. Let's look at the final picture. The question is, what time does Rex go to bed? What time does Rex go to bed? If I look on the clock here, I would see the time shows 8 o'clock. It does not show 8 o'clock. It's telling me that some of you are not paying attention. Let's look at the clock again. What time does Rex go to bed? Look to see where the hour hand is pointing. I can see it's pointing to the number 7. So therefore, Rex goes to bed at 7 o'clock and not 8 o'clock. See, you have to pay attention. Rex goes to bed at 7 o'clock. All right? So we need to write 7 o'clock at the bottom. Learning time is very simple and easy. Once you learn how to read the time on the hour, after that, you can learn how to read timing by the minutes, even by the seconds. All right? So I want you to draw your clock, write the numbers in from 1 to 12, and you can draw in the hour hand and the minute hand to answer this question. What time do you get up in the morning? What time do you get up in the morning? Draw a clock to show me your answer. Ensure that you have a long hand and a short hand, and they are pointing directly on the numbers. So again, you can use your ruler and also use a circular object to draw your clock. Until then, Take care. You can look at the clock inside of your house. You can even look at your watch or mommy's watch, daddy's watch, whatever it is, so you can tell the time on the hour. All right, so not just draw inside your book and that's it. I want to see you looking up at those clocks inside of your home or at your school, or check your wristwatch and you can read the time as well. The time is even on your tablet, on the phone, on the computer. Sometimes it's on the television. Look at it, read it so that you can get better and you can practice. All right? So until we meet again, continue drawing, writing, reading, coloring, and stay safe. This is Teacher Anika saying, bye, boys and girls.